Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews.
Blood Rage is a game that took the board gaming world by storm. And when you look at CMON, this is kind of, to me, their game. You got Zombicide, you got some other things that they've done, but I really feel like that Blood Rage is the best game that they've put out. At its heart, Blood Rage is just a card drafting game with area control, and you're using those cards to score certain areas, and you want to have pieces there. And they'll have some battles and stuff, but at its heart, it's a card drafting and area control game. What separates this game is the design by Eric Lang. Now, this game has been designed 3 to 5 times. You had Midgard, maybe Chaos in the old world, and they re-released this game with tweaks to make it better, and I think they finally nailed it. They then made it into Rising Sun, but I think really Blood Rage is the sweet spot for it, if you ask me. Simple card drafting. You have a lot of miniatures. This game really pops from the table, especially if it's all painted up and looks nice. Some of the monsters and beasts that you're putting into this game really look good. And the Kickstarter allowed for a lot of exclusive content for additional players, additional monsters, additional sculpts. So you have a lot of things you can kind of add into this game. And a lot of people say, hey, this part is broken or that part is overpowered. But that's sort of the game. It's all a little overpowered, but it's done on purpose. And that's where the card drafting comes in. The card drafting allows you to maybe get lucky and get one card, but when you don't pick that up, it's got to go around the table and get back to you. Slight advantage if you played it before and you kind of know what cards to look for. There's the Loki strategy, but I don't think unless you randomly got all those cards drafted to you and you took them first, that's going to be very helpful to you because more than likely you're not going to get those cards over and over again. Now, a lot of the cards are really, really powerful, especially when you start getting into some of the exclusive stuff and the add-ons that you can put into the game. But that's where the beauty of the game kind of shines. It's designed to do that. It's designed to be a little bit overpowered. And everybody has something really awesome to play. And no matter who wins or what card they use to win, you go, that card is overpowered. You won because of that card. But in reality, it was a combination of decisions that they make. But you always feel what you're doing is very powerful. And you're always building up to something good. And when it comes to fruition, you're just very, very happy. And you have this sense of accomplishment. Even if you don't win, there's a sense of accomplishment that you made that move. And this game has big moves. And it looks beautiful on the table, especially painted up. It looks great. It's attractive. When people see the miniatures, they're like, wow, those are really good. And that kind of thing just pops and it elevates a game. And Blood Rage does get elevated because of that. Simplistically, it's a card drafting area control game. But it's done really, really well. You have a few different cards. You can upgrade things. You can upgrade your warriors, your mystics, your leaders, add monsters to the table. How you're going to score is done through the card drafting. What areas you're going to be seeking out. Then you have it where one area of the board is going to be destroyed every round, and your people are going to die. At some points, you actually want your people to die. It's very unique. Usually in these type of games, you do not. In this one, sometimes, or a lot of the times, it's beneficial to you because you will score points for doing that. So you want the glory of the death on a battle, which really brings the Viking themes alive. And that's something else. This game, the theme, for something that you're just kind of like drafting cards and you have area control, the theme really does shine through. And I think all of these pieces coming together has made Blood Rage a very classic game. I think 10, 15, 20 years from now, people will look back at Blood Rage and consider it a classic. I think people will say, hey, at least up to this point, it's Eric Lang's best game, and he's a fairly famous designer. They're going to look back at this as his A-plus artwork that he's done, and I think it will live the test of time. Now what they got to do is stop releasing little variants of it like Rising Sun. They got to let this game soak in and sell instead of trying to make it even better, which I think is overcooking it a little bit, but that's neither here nor there. If you like this sort of game, Blood Rage is a great game to jump into. It can be played casually. It's fine if everybody at the table is casual or first-time players. It's fine. It's very easy to sit up and play. Although it's not a gateway game, it's not something I would play with somebody who plays Sorry all the time. But it's a more casual. It can be played more casually. But if people really know the cards and know what they're doing, you can definitely have some strategic elements put into this game. And I think that flexibility is what makes Blood Rage be such a great game. It's a really fun game. You can play up to 4. There's an expansion to make it 5. You can play it with your family. You can play it with your buddies and your friends. It's very, very flexible. I kind of like it at 3 or 4 more than 2 or 5, but you definitely can play at those numbers also. This is a really fun game, and one that I'm going to recommend you check out. One that I would actually recommend you checking out a lot of the expansions. I've done some reviews on those. You can see those up and kind of see what's included in the box and how those add into your play styles. But I think this is one of those games where even the extra stuff you get add a lot to it. For me, Blood Rage is an instant buy. This is a classic board game, one that you buy sight unseen, and one I think you'll really, really enjoy it. And I would say this is an absolute keeper for me. Here's Blood Rage. It's the components. You can see a very striking box here with a Viking running with all this explosion and fire behind him. My box has seen a little bit better days. It's starting to come apart, but there's a lot in here. You're going to have the rules of the game, which we'll go through in a few. You're going to have these little flimsy Valhalla sheets. I wish these were cardboard, but they're not. These little H things. Now, these are fine. They're these little flimsy cardboard. I wish they were harder, but they do just sit on the board. That's fine. You're going to have these different clans that you'll have. You have 4 that's going to come in this box. The Bear Clan, the Raven, the Wolf, and the Serpent. Once again, flimsy. I mean, they're pretty good stock for what they are. I mean, not to be wrong, but it's just a matter of, I would have liked hard cardboard or something else, but they do just sit flat on the table. It's just built up. You're going to have these spaces, yellow and blue, and this gray. This gray is really hard for me to see, but you're going to have little spots here, and you have the little spots where people can go in. It's kind of abstract with the score around it. I do like the board. I think it looks good. It's a little dark for my taste, but I do like it. As for the foam core, you're going to see in here, you're going to have 2 pieces to it that will fit everything from the core set. Let's take a look. Now we're going to take a look at the chits, the minis, and how everything fits in. So I just kind of stick the chits down here. There's a nice wooden chip with different stuff. And you're going to have these based on the color of who's playing it, so you can put around the monsters and the people and things. And that's going to sit them in there. You're going to have the little first player token and the cards that will be in here. The cards are a little small. These are a little small, like what I call Hobbit cards. You're going to have 3 different kinds. They're fine. And if you play this a lot, you may want to start thinking about perhaps putting these in sleeves. But the artwork is okay on these. I'm not crazy about the artwork, but it is small. I do like how when it tells you like, who has the most strength, it highlights it for you. That's a really good plus right there. Otherwise, the minis are all going to sit in here. I'm going to show you what the minis look like. You can see everybody fits in here perfectly. You have little spots for the ships up here, and you have custom spots for the big monsters that come with it. I'm not going to show you doubles that might come in here, but I'll tell you how many of each there are. So every team and every color is going to get a ship. Now mine come painted because I purchased this painted, but they will not come painted. You can kind of see. You can make it look really cool. So each one's going to have one of these in a different color. And then you're going to have these warriors that will come. Here are my red warriors. You can see that they have the slope coming down. And you're going to get 3 of those and 2 of these. These guys with the staff, with the sword coming up. You can see the detail in that. And these are some really cool mini or not. And here's a guy with a staff. And you can see there's a lot of details on these. They're really nice miniatures. And the Blood Rage miniatures have been all of the rage. So the blue team will get guys like this with these spikes. The shield on the back is really cool. And you're going to get quite a few of those. This guy's got the sword, pike going down, and you're going to have this the little axe thing right there. The leader for this team. Wind blowing. Just phenomenal. These are really, really good. So that's going to be the blue team. And the red team, we're also going to have these guys with the axes and the sword coming off to the side. Very cool. And then the brown clan. You see him with that hammer that he has. And so there's 4 of those 5. Okay. This guy has the hammer down. Once again, these are all going to come unpainted, But this, you know, if you happen to like this paint job, you know, you can do whatever you want with it. You're gonna have these guys, or girls in this case. We've seen him. You're gonna have this older gentleman here with the sword coming down. He's definitely been in some wars. I got another lady will be going into action. Let's see. Sword right there looks really So the miniatures in this are just phenomenal. They can kind of sit in there. And this is why you play the game, these huge big giant monsters. Once again, these will come unpainted, but these look phenomenal. When you put these out on the map, I mean, things just look incredible. And you can see the custom insert kind of fits them right down in there. This is one in particular you're going to be very careful with. These are pointy, but they could break off. So you're going to be very careful about what you get here. You can kind of see this demon coming up from the sea. It's very, very, very incredible. But you're going to be very careful with that one. See this big one, more like a Yeti type thing. You can see the Pokemon, the hair going on the rock above his head. It just looks phenomenal. Okay, so as for the insert, it fits really back in. The box actually closes all the way down when you have the insert in. It's a very good insert. I'm happy with it. It only fits the core stuff. There are some blanks in here where you can put a few more things, but for the most part, it's going to do the core box only. Here are the rules for Blood Rage. You're going to see the front of the box again. You're going to see the objective of the game, kind of how it's set up, and a table of contents, which is really nice. Here are the pictures of the components. I think this should be in every game. This shows you a little bit what they would look like without the pinks. These are grayscale, and these are like a muted tan, if you will. But there is color on each of the sails, so you can tell them apart. Very cool. I really like when things do that. You can have a game round, breakdown of the board, the clan sheet, kind of how it works. And then you're going to have your figures, your cards, and how to prepare. So we're all still not playing the game yet. So we're more setup here. Setup doesn't really take that long, but they do a good job of explaining. There's a lot of white on these pages too. Here's the phases of play. Each one will be broken down. And you can see kind of how things move. Plenty of examples with pictures and colors, which I like quite a bit. Tells you a little bit how the quest cards go. And then how you will play cards as you play. Plenty of pictures, as you can see. The quest and a discard. I mean, this whole page is just a picture of that miniature that you saw. And the Ragnarok phase and kind of the end of the game. And a rule summary on the back. I really enjoy this game. The game is not that difficult. It's pretty simple, and the rulebook does a great job of explaining it to you. So the game is really going to be played with these 3 decks of cards. It's going to be what the main component is going to be shifting this card. 1, 2, 3. So there's 3 ages, and each age is going to use a round of cards. Theoretically, they're going to get stronger as the game goes on, with the third act or age being more powerful than the first or the second. But you're going to play playing 3, and the timer of the game are going to be utilizing these cards. Beginning of the phase, each person will draw 8 cards. You're going to take a look at your cards, and you're going to draft these, which means you're going to take one of your cards and keep it and place it face down in front of you and give the remainder of the cards to the person next to you. Then everybody will switch cards, and a deck will come to you from the person on your right. You will choose one of those cards, and you will keep it for your hand, and you will pass the rest of your cards over. And that's drafting, and you'll continue to do that until you have 6 cards in your hand. When everybody has 6 cards, you're ready to start the first round. Players are going to have 5 possible actions they can do on a turn. Most are going to revolve around this player board they're going to have, in particular this area right here. Players are going to track their rage on this chart right here. You will spend this rage in order to perform different actions. When you get down to 0, you can no longer perform any actions. If you look at the bottom here, you're going to have your 5 possible actions. The first thing you do is invade, and that's just basically putting one of your guys on the map. And you can do so by spending the rage equal to their strength. You can march, which is a rage cost of 1, which will be moving somebody from one location to another location on the board. You can also upgrade, which is the rage cost of the card that you're playing. If you look here, you can see this is an upgrade card with a rage cost of 1, which would allow you to upgrade your clan. So you can upgrade the cards, but you will pay the rage listed on the card. These are quest cards. You can commit to doing these by placing these on your player mat, and you will get a number of victory points if you're able to accomplish this by the end of the raid. You can also pillage an area on the board. If you look, each area is going to have a spot on the board that will have a goodie here. You're able to pillage that for a cost of free as long as you meet the requirements to do so. Those are going to be the 5 actions you can take, and they are listed here on your player board, each one having a different cost of rage that you will spend. So let's quickly talk about the different types of cards that you may come across. Here is a quest, and what you're trying to do here is have the most strength in at least one of this province right here, and it's going to show you which provinces are. If in the round you have the most, you're going to get a victory point. If you complete it, raise 1 of your clan stats by 1. Here is a Loki's Domain. This costs 1 rage. It will be a clan upgrade. Gain 1 glory for each figure you release from Valhalla. And then you're going to have maybe something like this. This is another clan upgrade. Frigga's Succor. When you invade with any figure, you may invade with an additional warrior in that province for free. Here is a leader upgrade. Each pair of your warriors in a province is 3 total strength. Brothers in Arms. So you have different things that you can play. Now let's look at some stage 3 cards and see what they kind of do. So, once again, worth 11 instead of 5 before. Glorious Death. Have at least 4 figures in Valhalla before Ragnarok. If completed, raise 1 of your clan stats by 1. Here is Loki's Poison. If you lose, take the winner. So this is a combat card. You would play this when you're going through combat. It's going to add 0 strength to it, but if you lose, the winning players reveal cards into your hand. So this might be something you think you're going to lose and want to lose. This one would add +2 to your battle strength. Gain 2 glory for each figure destroying the battle, including yours. So these are going to become more powerful in Age 3 as you move across. So that's a general idea of a few concepts that are in the game. When you place somebody out on the board, you will be placing them on these circles. And the more you have in a circle, the easier it will be for you to pillage or take the booty, if you will, of that area. Whoever has the majority of strength. So each one of these people are going to have a strength depending on the cards that you play and their initial play. So more isn't always better because you could have a monster on your team. And if a monster comes out, his strength may be super, super high. Let's say you had this guy out on a place. He is super powerful and may be able to do more damage than the smaller guys that you have. So it's a total strength that you have, which will allow you to pillage. So in some regards, it's an area control game where you're trying to get control of certain areas depending on maybe what quest cards you're playing. So if you're playing a quest card in an area like this, you may really want to have the most strength in these areas. So you may be playing over here, or you may be playing for the tile that is there. There are different things that you can be doing based on what cards you have in your hand. And everybody's not necessarily going to know what cards that you have. So I'm not going over everything in this game and all of the rules. I just want to give you a general flow of the game. The main mechanism of this game is you see all these beautiful miniatures in this map and you think it's battles. It's not. It's drafting these cards. And based on what you draft, you'll be able to upgrade your people or go on certain quests or have additional battle things that you can do. And by playing these, you'll be able to score victory points that go across the board, normally from controlling areas on the board. The complexity of this game is not high. The rule book is very thorough about going through it and choosing the rules of this game. There are certain things like moving where when you want to move from one area, you choose one province for one rage, and you can move as many people there as there are open spots. So in this case, they would have all 3 of these areas, and they would kind of have a lockdown on this area for at least the round. I cannot stress the importance of drafting these cards. The game is overpowered, but yet balanced. This game allows you to pick a strategy by the cards that you draft, and then you implement that strategy on the board. That's an important concept in this game. This game isn't about just moving people and taking tactical decisions. It's about playing to your cards, but you have to draft the cards properly in order to do so. So the more times you play, you have a rewarding experiment in what combination of cards will work best to implement your strategy. Sometimes you need to make strategic decisions on the fly, but normally, 60-70% of your strategic decision will be made when you're drafting these cards. It's super important to have a thought process together. And the first time you play, you may not. You can get wrapped up on what's going on the board and how that moves, and that will be a huge part of the game when you get to that. But drafting these cards, this is where the more you know this, the higher advantage that you're going to have. Okay, so I didn't want to explain all the rules. I think there are a lot of videos out there that do that. I kind of wanted to show some important concepts here and give somebody an idea of the flow of the game and what is important in this game, whether you will like it or not. If you don't like drafting, this game isn't for you. If you don't like moving dudes on the map and having these battles where somebody can play a card on you, like here, +0. If you lose, still 2 glory from the winning player. A little bit of take that. Are you going to like that in the game? I think it's an important concept to see here. At this point, it's important to know that this is a card drafting game. We're moving these monsters and people around the board in order to have battles and to control certain areas of the game. Who should buy this game? I would say this game should be bought by anybody who likes card drafting and area control games. If you like both of those, this is doubly for you. If you like beautiful games, this is one. If you're totally turned off by Vikings and fighting and ugly monsters, then obviously this isn't going to be for you. This is also not a gateway game. Although this is not a complicated game. I would say this is probably like a light to medium type game for me. If you're you're probably watching a gaming video like this, then you probably would say this is a light to medium. What you're doing on any given turn isn't very difficult. The more you play it, the more you understand the cards. I think it's very simple. At the end of the day, the cards are going to do one of 3 things. Upgrade, add a component like a monster to your team, or give you some place to score, or give you like combat assistance, something of that nature. So there's not a whole lot going on here, but those decisions are still real. They're important. They come through in the game. So you can casually get into this game, and if you like it, you can play it more and more and up how good you are at it. So I think it's light to medium for me. If you want to say medium, if you only like lighter games, if you like heavier games, just maybe light, medium, maybe for you. For me, absolute keeper. This is one that will probably always stay in my collection. One that I would say an evergreen for me is Blood Rage. Absolute keeper. Thanks for watching the video. I really appreciate you tuning in. If you liked it, please like it and hit that little subscribe button. That really helps out the channel, lets us know that you're getting the videos that you want. If you agreed or disagree with what I said, feel free to comment below. I'd love to hear what you have to say, and I promise that I will comment back. Thanks for watching, and everybody else, keep playing.